Terrific to have your company on Fox Sports around Australia, and a very warm welcome to Sydney's Leichhardt Oval. Conditions are cool but fine for this historic clash, the Under-18s national final between the North Devils and the Newcastle Knights. Let's have a look how both sides made it this far. Now, last weekend in the Mal Meninga Cup, North Devils defeated the Townsville Stingers by 28 points to 10, whilst in the SG Ball Cup here in New South Wales, the Newcastle Knights prevailing over the Bulldogs in a very close one, 25 to 24. And now joining me at Leichhardt Oval, the Bulldogs recruitment and development manager, Peter Mulholland. Pete, you spend a lot of your time scouting talent in this age group, and we've got some terrific youngsters on display today.
Yeah, Newcastle Knights were very, very strong last week against the Bulldogs. We're easily the best side. Score didn't indicate the strength of their side. North Devils, very, very strong in the competition up there, and I think their score against the Townsville side would indicate that. So I'm looking forward to a very strong match this afternoon.
Do the NRL affiliated clubs, a la the Newcastle Knights today, for example, have an advantage by virtue of potentially better resources?
I think so. You're talking about NRL clubs. I mean, the Broncos don't have a club as such, nor do the Titans. So basically, yeah, they're spreading their resources a little bit thinner up there. But certainly, there's always a smoky comes out of the Queensland sides. Don't worry about that. I mean, they tie in with a few of the other NRL clubs. I mean, the Broncos are fairly strong at Norths, and I know in the previous match we saw today, the Melbourne Storm are very tight with the East Tigers.
All right, Pete, look forward to working with you today for the broadcast of this match. Here's a look now at the two sides, starting with the North Devils. The side is Burgess, Flanagan, Webster, Leedy, Sleep, Levy, Nicarima, Molo, Tunnicliffe, Tuala, Jaggle, Bing, Kelly, and the bench is Harris, Riley, Grimes, and Lennon. And now Newcastle, Matatua, Allison, Chandler, Ritter, Shippard, Rouse, Mann, Steele, Clydesdale, Mason, Lawrence, Elias, Roos. And on the bench today, Clark, Enalaiko, Hill, and Savvy. Once again, nice to have your company on Fox Sports for this Under-18s national final. It will be a beauty. It's the ultimate test of North versus South. Looking forward to this one as the Newcastle Knights take the field first for this national Under-18s championship final. Former Balmain right eastward skipper in the New South Wales Cup, Lee Bennett, joins me in commentary. It's terrific to be here today. Good weather conditions to look at some of the game's finest young talent in action.
Yes, David, it's fantastic to be here today, and what a strong competition this Under-18s comp is. There'll be plenty of recruitment and development officers out checking out the young talent for the NRL future.
You're not wrong, they'll all be here. In fact, I've spotted a couple already, and we've already talked to one of them on the show, Peter Mulholland from the Bulldogs. First man tackled in this game is Jake Lawrence, the back rower. Took the ball from the kickoff. So Newcastle, first use of the Steeden in this historic clash. Chandler plays it, and now it comes away to the front rower, Michael Steele. Goes hard and straight, was tackled down low by Francis Molo. Now the other front rower, this is Rob Mason, goes forward about 6 metres, was back slammed by Chris Binge in jumper number 12. They now go down the short side, and the clearing kick is an absolute screamer. Plenty of length on that, bouncing back, and Justin Sleep takes it for the North Devils. So now the Queensland team has its first use of the football. That was a reasonable set by Newcastle early, Lee.
Yeah, definitely a good set. They got through, good quick play of the ball, and finish off with a nice kick and kick chase.
BJ Burgess, it was, that just played the ball. Then from Tunnicliffe, away to Francis Molo. Molo, a big lad. There are plenty of them. I've got to say that the North Devils, they're certainly not lacking in the size department up front. Now it comes away to Richard Tuala in jumper 10, tackled by 3 Newcastle Knights players. Referee today, Casey Badger. Casey's been getting a fair bit of publicity in recent weeks. The wife of NRL whistleblower Gavin Badger, and by all reports, Casey, the consummate professional with the whistle and getting it done. Here's Pat Matatua, who, Lee, is one of 4 brothers playing rugby league.
Yes, his eldest brother Peter played his first grade NRL debut in round 11 this year. And 4 brothers, Samoan heritage, all good prospects for NRL.
Here's big Rob Mason. Again, he's got a good work ethic, this kid, and tries to struggle downfield, but the defence was equal to the task. Mitchell Grimes was aggressive in jumper 16, and here's a good run by the lock forward, Ben Roos. Good metres from Newcastle. They're looking fairly slick in the manner in which they're going about their work. early in this game. And again, finding plenty of length with the kick. Comes down to the winger Justin Sleep, who is crunched by Tom Rouse, the Newcastle 5'8". He's a good player, Rouse. Keep your eyes on him in this contest. Now the centre is tackled. Webster driven back a couple of metres for his trouble. This is Chris Binge. Steps off his right and comes back into heavy traffic. Good tackle by Ellis. Down low. No score early in this game. Jake Kelly is put on the ground by Tom Rouse. Now the halfback, Nicarima, got it away, but his North Devils teammate couldn't handle it. It was dropped by Josh Jaggle. And coming up with it, Newcastle. This is Josh Allison, Knights right winger. There's no shortage of emerging talent in the New South Wales Hunter Valley region. Here's a great run by the hooker forward, Adam Clydesdale. Last line of defence got him. So the Knights have North's Devils on the back foot at the moment. It comes across to Clydesdale. And now the halfback is Manny. Dummies and straightens. Man goes for the line. You can see the line there. Bottom of picture. Doesn't get much closer. As Newcastle continue the pressure with Ben Roosey. Got it out to the winger, Lachlan Shippard. And Shippard has not scored. He'll play it a couple of blades of grass short. They come to the open side, Kurt Mann. And through the hands, now to the front rower, Mason. On to Matatua. And Matatua right in the centre of the field, about 5 out from the posts. We'll be told to play it back to Clydesdale. Now Rouse, he takes off and plants that down. Opening try of the day. The defence held off him, Lee.
Oh, that was some great footwork there by Tom Rouse. You only spoke about his quality and great playing skills earlier. And the big right foot sees a gap and gets the first 4 points.
Another look at this. Silky skills from the Newcastle Knights pivot. Did it all on his own. The big right foot step. Had the defence sliding the other way and was able to get that ball planted down. Now the attempted conversion. Well, it's successful. Ritter successful with that kick. So 6-0 to the Newcastle Knights. Our highlights package of this historic National Under-18s final continues from Sydney's Leichhardt Oval. Our camera's also recording the Under-16s clash between Brisbane East and the Canterbury Bulldogs. You'll see that next week on Fox Sports. Check your local guides for more info on that. Matatua plays it. I'll have to send a new jersey out for him. His current one is in tatters. It's been ripped. Now Clydesdale. Pass away to the lock forward, Ben Roos. And he'll be told to play at 5 on Newcastle's side of halfway. They lead 6-0. Early stages of this game. Lovely kick over towards the northeastern part of the ground. Goes into touch about 7 metres out from the line.
2 hands, I'll tell you when to feed it.
And the scrum will pack.
Make sure this leg's forward, eh?
A North's Devils loosen feed.
2 hands, throw it in, out.
The Newcastle Knights are looking very well drilled, aren't they? They're getting through their set and finishing on a high with a good kick and finding touch there, really in control at the start of this game.
Yeah, they've been very impressive. I think I used the word slick a few minutes ago. Haven't looked like making an error. And a massive kicking game too. Some of their long kicks downtown have almost finished up at 5, Doc. The North Devils continue through their paces. Chris Binge hitting the ball at pace beyond his own 40-metre line. Glorious sunshine at Leichhardt Oval as Nicarima kicks downfield. One bounce and into the waiting arms of Pat Matatua. You can see the ripped jersey I referred to earlier. Couldn't quite get away from the defence. Tried to get around the outside of Webster, who grabbed him by the jersey, and a couple of mates helped out. Jaggle was one of those mates. Chad Chandler now tackled. If you've just joined our coverage, Newcastle running right to left, of course, the Knights winning the SG Ball Cup in New South Wales last weekend. The North Devils winning the equivalent north of the border, the Malmaninga Cup in Queensland. And hence they come together today. Fantastic idea. Clydesdale, kick across the top, picked up by BJ Burgess. And Burgess gets away from a couple, but unable to get away from James Ellis, who effects a low grassing tackle. Now Nick Flanagan Up the centre, across the top was Clydesdale, down low Ben Roos. Now the front rower is Francis Molo. Tackled by his opposite, Michael Steele. Jake Kelly, that was a good hit. He knows he's out of game.
You can see both teams getting into the grind here. No one wants to give an inch, and the Newcastle Knights are defending up well, and there's some good sets coming out of the North Devils at the moment. A good kick. Finds the fullback there on the full though.
Yeah, they've not had quite as good a long kicking game as Newcastle. So Matatua returning the footy. I think he's had 4 touches in the contest already. Now Lachlan Shippard away to the winger from the other side of the field, Josh Allison. And Allison is put down by 3 Norths Devils, leading the charge with Chris Binge. Binge already making a host of tackles in this game. Now being driven back in good aggressive defence here. James Ellis, excellent tackle. The centre, Jerome Leedy. Now, this is Ben Roos again, working back towards the centre. Well, they go for the big kick from the boot of Kurt Mann. They do. That one finds his mark a little easier this time. It's Justin Sleep. Now, Webster goes for a run, confronted by Michael Steele. Here's Jake Kelly. Gee, he likes getting his hands on the footy. The North Devils lock forward. Made plenty of runs already today. Now this is the hooker, Joshua Tunnicliffe. And a 12-metre effort sees him playing at 5 metres into Newcastle territory. They come right, and now with the back rower, Chris Binge, confronted by 3 Knights. So we're going to see North Devils with some decent field position here, really for the first time. And a high towering kick from Cody Nikarima is fielded by Pat Matatua, now wearing a new jersey. And he's tackled Lee.
Yeah, I would like to see the North Devils centre defenders put a bit more pressure there at fullback. They had the opportunity to contest that football, but just moseyed on up the middle of the field.
Yeah, Matatua was given too much time. There was not really a sense of urgency. You're right. Josh Allison is now tackled. Adam Clydesdale, the hooker, appealing for a penalty. It was not forthcoming. This is Michael Steele, couple of metres short of the halfway line. Got to give a rap to the Australian Rugby League. Jeff Carr and Ross Livermore getting their heads together and electing to televise this match and the Under-16s National Championship on Fox Sports. So full credit to them for giving the kids a crack. It's good to see. BJ Burgess now returning the footy, tackled by Will Clark. Into the action, wearing jumper 14 for the Newcastle Knights. Now Nick Flanagan goes for a run. Terrific tackle. Down low by James Ellis. Here's Jerome Leedy. And a mistake. He was tackled by Ben Roos. And the ball coming out. Another look at that.
Just an unfortunate mistake there by Jerome Leedy. Just looking to make some extra yards and coughs the ball up, unfortunately.
So great chance for the Newcastle Knights to potentially extend the lead. Matatua, gee, I thought that pass was forward. And it's been called that way by Casey Badger. That is the right call.
Yeah, definitely. You can see on the replay here, it's gone a mile forward. He may as well have done an AFL pass to him.
Could very nearly have been a penalty, really, for deliberate offside.
You got to stay there until the ball comes out, boys.
Penalty inside the 10. Our highlights package continues almost midway through this first half now. In the Under-18s National Championship final. Good driving defence there on the back row of Binge. Getting out of acting half. Adam Harris, good run by Harris. Only been on the field a short time already, making his presence felt. Good quick play of the ball too. Here they come, North Devils. Rare opportunity to attack inside the Newcastle 20-metre area. Few and far between their visits have been down this southern end of the field. Chris Binge. If I'm the North Devils coach, I'm happy. We're only trailing by 6. Now some pressure. Let's see how Newcastle responds in defence. They haven't really been tested too many times. Molo plays it. Now the ball away to Nicarima. Nicely weighted kick in, and it's battered dead in goal by the winger, Josh Allison.
That was a beautifully weighted kick. It just kicked up nicely, and the Newcastle Knights players had to knock it over. We've got another set of 6 for the North Devils.
Expert comments today from Lee Bennett, former Balmain Right Eastwood captain in the New South Wales Cup. Out of ground, he's spent plenty of time at over the years today at Leichhardt.
Hold. No, 14.
Now Adam Harris, ball away to Francis Molo.
Hey, get up.
Molo wrapped up by Michael Steele. Good chance again for the visitors. Nicarima inside to Jake Kelly. Only about 7 metres out. Now Harris away to the big front rower. Tuala is driven back in defence. Newcastle standing their ground. Great chance for the North Devils, winners of the Malmaninga Cup in Queensland last weekend. Now Mitchell Grimes is tackled. Back to Harris. Now to Nicarima. Great ball out wide to Nick Flanagan. And North's Devils have hit back. Little bit of football, little bit of decent field position, and they've come up with the desired result. 6-4 kick to come.
Fantastic vision there, as you can see on the replay here. Nicarima with an absolute rocket of a pass, finds his winger, still had a bit of work to do, comes off his right foot and crosses over for the North Devils. 4 points, slams it down in the corner.
Well done. It was a lovely pass the money ball from Nicarima. Here's BJ Burgess, the North Devils fullback, from wide out on the western touchline. It's away, but unfortunately lacking direction totally. 6 points to 4 in favour of the Newcastle Knights. Here at Leichhardt. 22 and a half minutes gone in this first half.
I've been impressed with the first 20 minutes of this game. Good quality football from both sides, getting through their sets, getting kicks. You know, we have seen a couple of mistakes from the North Devils. Newcastle Knights playing mistake-free footy. It is good quality, some definite stars of the future for the NRL.
And the Newcastle Knights long kicking game, particularly off the boot of Kurt Mann, has been a real feature. The kick chase is enthusiastic, so that's one of the reasons why they've had the better of the field position in this game, regularly pinning the Queensland side in its own 20-metre line. Now here's Harris. Away to Nicarima. Nicarima wants to play footy, growing in confidence after that try he set up. Taking the line on. Now kick downfield that lands into the waiting arms of Pat Matatua. Started the game in jersey number 1. Had it ripped to shreds, and hence the new strip comes out. He objected to that tackle, Matatua, too. He came up pushing and shoving. Here's Lachlan Shippard playing it. Now the lock forward is Ben Roos. Jerome Leedy, the tackler, across the top, and Harris down low. And Roos has been hurt. He's also ripped his jersey. What's going on out there today?
Yeah, a few bits and pieces of apparel coming apart there. Might be the North Devils' strong defence.
The coach won't care as long as their defence doesn't come apart at the seams. Here's Will Clark in 14. As Roos receiving a bit of attention from the trainer. He's okay. Now the kick coming up from Tom Rouse down towards the eastern touchline. It was a vicious bounce. No chance anyone could get a play on that.
Some good kick pressure there from the North Devils. Didn't see the Newcastle Knights being able to poke it right down the end. I don't think that was the kick result they wanted.
Come all the way, 8. Good.
Now Leedy plays it. And this is BJ Burgess. Plays it back to Harris. And in jumper 12, Chris Binge tackled by Michael Steele.
Just play it there.
Messi play the ball.
You can't just play it on top of him like that. Get straight up where you were held.
Well, you heard what Casey Badger said. Can't play it on the tackled player.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sloppy play of the ball there. Could have gone either way, I thought.
You're not wrong. I mean, the defender made no attempt whatsoever to get out of there either. So it was going to be a 50-50, wasn't it?
A bit tough on the North Devils.
Here's Michael Steele. Newcastle going forward once more. 25, almost 26 minutes gone in this game. Here's Kurt Mann. Man to the line, away to Ben Roos. Roos is big and strong. He struggles downfield and goes so close to scoring. driven back in a desperate tackle by James Ellis. Now a run from acting half by the hooker, Adam Clydesdale. They made the tackle stick though, the visitors. Now across. Man in 20 is Jason Sarvey. He's a big unit, Sarvey. Now Rouse out to Jackson Hill. Jackson Hill is across the line, and that is a Newcastle try. He's big and rangy and proved impossible to stop in the end. 10 points to 4, kick to come here at Leichhardt Oval League.
You see the ball going out wide there. They probably caught North Devils on the back foot, straight through the 5'8". Finds Jackson Hill there, and the big man, a bit too hard to stop. You're not going to stop him too far out, and slams the ball down for the second try of the Newcastle Knights.
Despite the best efforts of a number of defenders in his way, he just strolled across the top of them. The attempted conversion unsuccessful. So 10 points to 4, almost half an hour into this game, and wow, Rouse a running catch and then flings it back infield. Josh Allison got the footy now, and have a look how many Devils players were driving in there then. I've got to stop referring to the North Devils as the visitors. Newcastle are visitors too, in real terms, to Leichhardt.
Come all the way.
A neutral ground for this under-18s national championship final. The best of North meeting the best of South. And Jason Sarvey is back slammed by Adam Harris. 5'8" Jason Levy also involved in the tackle. Now they go wide, the Newcastle Knights, and bursting into the clear here is Lachlan Shepherd. Inside pass now to Nick Ritter. And Ritter was wrapped up by Jerome Leedy.
Bit of an exciting passage of play there. We saw the ball gets in some space and definitely had some pace to burn down at wide. There's a flick pass on the inside.
There's a mistake by Kurt Mann, his first error today. I can't remember Newcastle making a mistake.
Yeah, this could be the first one of the day. They've been playing mistake-free football.
Pass was a bit behind him, to be fair. He had to reach back and made a grab at it, and hence dragged it forward with the miscue. So North's Devils now 5 metres into Newcastle Knights territory. Harris now away to Jake Kelly. Kelly looking for the offload. Eventually succumbs to the tackle of Tom Rouse. Adam Harris to Josh Jaggle, the back rower. And that's great defence, Newcastle. He's still got the pass away, though, to Webster, wide out. He has Josh Allison clinging to him, and the latter makes the tackle. So good chance now for North's Devils to hit back ahead of the half-time break as they go through the hands. This is Binge. Got it on his outside, but they couldn't handle it sweetly. Cleaning it up, though, was Nick Flanagan. Now plays it back to Jason Levy. Here's a Cody Nikarima. He's a good player. Takes off, and a flat pass to the back rower, Josh Jaggle.
Not gone into the Newcastle player.
And it went forward into the Newcastle player. Even though he got it back, it's definitely deemed a knock on. Gee, it was borderline forward anyway, that pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was borderline forward. And then Chad Chandler from Newcastle Knights getting up in the face, looking to shut that down, probably brought on that pressure.
Speaking of Chandler, this is him to play the ball now. 5 on his own side of halfway. And a short ball to Michael Steele.
12. Hey.
Player penalised for being offside.
I think you can see a bit of an arm come up around the neck region, and Michael Steele not too happy with that, but definite penalty.
Okay, my apologies. I thought he was inside the 10 initially. I thought the referee called him to stay out of it. Here's Jackson Hill to play it now for Newcastle. 10 metres out, and they are on the attack yet again. Kurt Mann and Roos inside to Matatua. Matatua hitting the ball at pace. North's Devils here are definitely on the rack. Ben Roos lunging from acting half. Held up. He'll go back 10 metres. Here's another look.
It was nearly worth having a crack at there. Ben Roos is a big fella, strong. He's had some great runs today. And he looks like he's got a bit of skill too, a bit of an inside ball there.
Here they go again. Newcastle, Jaden Inaliko. Good tackle around the legs by Francis Molo. And the Queenslanders here, there's been plenty being asked of their defence. What about the footwork on this 5'8"? Tom Rouse. He's got all the tricks, it would seem. That was a lovely pickup by the centre, Jerome Leedy. So North's Devils now rucking it out from deep in their own territory. This has been pretty much the status quo for them today. Binge has dropped it. It comes back to Newcastle's Nick Ritter. And again, the Knights go on the attack. So North's Devils imploding at the moment off the back of unforced errors, Lee.
Yeah, definitely. Newcastle Knights are looking to force the error, and unfortunate for the North Devils, they've coughed it up. Only 10 metres out from their try line.
Jason Save tackled by Adam Harris. The Queenslanders can ill afford to let Newcastle score again here. It's almost half time, and now it's going to happen. Ball away to Matatua. It was a lovely pass off Jackson Hill across the top, and Matatua has done what North's Devils did not want to see and scored another 4-pointer right on half time. 14 points to 4, kick to come.
Well, this is great quality football. You can see the ball going out wide. Good line there from Hill. He goes through with a big don't argue and a basketball-type pass over the top. Finds the fullback in for his first try of the day.
Pat Matatua getting across the stripe. He's looked dangerous whenever he's handled. So the attempted conversion from wide out, and it too is across the face of goal. It's not been exactly a goal-kicking clinic here today so far at Leichhardt. There's been some indifferent attempts. And we're back underway, and half-time now looms at this level of the game. They're playing 35 minutes each way. And this is the try scorer, Matatua. Back slam by the centre for North Devils, Jerome Leedy. And there's the half-time siren in the background as Ben Roos goes for a gallop. Tackled head on. And that's the end of this first half at Leichhardt Oval. The Australian Under-18s Championship. The Newcastle Knights 14 lead North Devils 4. Tries to Rouse Hill and Matatua. Ritter successful with just the one goal from 3 attempts. Flanagan has got the 4-pointer for North Devils. Burgess none from 1. Stay with us on Fox Sports. We're coming back to Leichhardt Oval in just a moment. Fantastic to have your company on Fox Sports at half-time in the Under-18s National Championship final. Newcastle leading by 14 points to 4. A recap of the first half highlights with Lee Bennett.
Been some great quality football here today down at Leichhardt. The Under-18s, they're playing well above their age. You can see some good tries going through the hands out here. They find the big guy in Jackson Hill. He barges over and then finds his fullback in for the last try of the first half.
Stay behind it, boys.
And that was exactly what North Devils didn't want to see happen, allowing Newcastle in for another try prior to the break. Let's see how they go in this second half now. Trailing by 10 points, and they have first use of the footy in this second half with Webster in possession, tackled by Ben Roos. Now this is Ruben Lennon in jumper 17, going for one of his rare touches in the match after coming into the game off the bench. Harris, pass away. Been impressed with Adam Harris since he came onto the field. The head-geared acting half in jumper 14.
You'll find a penalty here, a loose arm just coming in contact with the face. Got a bit of a workover, not too happy with the North Devils player.
Wasn't too much in that though.
No.
Here's Josh Yagle now.
Come on the way.
Tackled by Jackson Hill. Jackson Hill has been the super sub for Newcastle. He's come into the game. Watch him in 17, big and strong, and is causing all sorts of dramas when he's got the football. Adam Harris, and now away to big Richard Tuala. And Tuala stopped by Matatua and Savi. So they continue with the pressure. This is Francis Molo. Told to get up and play it. He'll do so back to Harris. And now it's across to Nikarima. He was a little bit indecisive, Nikarima. Ends up linking up with BJ Burgess, the fullback, who's tackled on the Newcastle 10-metre line. That is tackle 5. What will they do? It goes to Jason Levy. A grubbing kick through, beautifully plucked out of the air there by Ben Roos, and managed to get back into the field of play as well.
Yeah, that was a nice little grubber there, and well cleaned up from Ben Roos, just to bring the ball back into the field of play for the Newcastle Knights' possession.
That was a big play. Things like that
Let him up, arm out.
can be defining moments in games of rugby league. Here's Michael Steele playing it. Now in 15 is Jaden Enaliko. 4 North Devils defenders in the tackle. Now Rouse away to Savi. Savi busts them. He's away, Savi. Not a lot of pace, but very destructive. He got the pass away to Jackson Hill, who in turn found the winger Allison. He kicks back through, and Allison has come up with a golden try. Here at Leichhardt Oval, you will not see better. It was started by the big forward, Jason Savi, who ran riot down the short side.
This is an unbelievable try. As you can see, just going through the hands, Savi just busts the tackle of, I believe, Nicarima, finds a gap, the big don't argue, into space, pops a little ball over to the side, and what about he still had a bit of work to do, Jackson Hill with a quick ball straight across to Allison, and this is like a Billy Slater type try, as you've seen him in the State of Origin, a little chip over, bounces up quite nicely for a try to the Newcastle Knights.
Well, very impressive stuff from the boys. 18 points to 4. So Newcastle and Ritter attempted conversion, unfortunately lacking direction again, but Newcastle doing what we often hear about in the game of rugby league, the danger period, scoring just before and just after half time. And now North Devils looking down the barrel of an 18-4 deficit. A penalty there, over-exuberance in the ruck.
Yeah, I think it's a bit rough because there was a penalty the other way against the North Devils when they lost the ball.
I remember. It was a similar situation.
Yeah, tough call, that one.
Oh, wow. Thought that was going to be dropped. Chad Chandler doing the Cirque du Soleil act. Managed to maintain possession. This is Matatua busting through tackles, falling on him there. Justin Sleep. Open side come Newcastle. And the pass a little behind Jason Savi. It's been called a knock-on by referee Casey Badger. Ball in flight. Going wide, the big front rower out there.
2 hands, feet.
I think he just took his eyes off the ball just for that little moment.
It's fine.
Now this is Jerome Leedy trying to negotiate heavy traffic. Got away from the first attempted tackle, but couldn't get away from the tackle of Adam Clydesdale. Matatua, the Newcastle fullback, up defending in the line for a couple of tackles. Now drops back. Now Harris. BJ Burgess. Gee, a pass that was borderline forward to the front rower, Richard Tuala.
Good, 3.
So plays it on the halfway line now. The halfback Nicarima, a show and go back towards the centre. Looking for a way through there. It was Project Impossible, eventually tackled by Tom Rouse. And now Chris Binge hitting the ball up on tackle number 5. He'll play it back to Harris. And now in 15, it's Lachlan Riley. A kick across the top, easy for me to say. That was fielded by Lachlan Shippard, who was under some pressure too.
Go.
This is Nick Ritter, the centre. You've got to say that at this stage of the game, Newcastle, infinitely more professional performance, completion rates, kicking game, kick chase, all of those vital components, the effort areas. They've just been a little too strong for their rivals, wouldn't you agree, Lee?
Definitely. They look like a very well-drilled outfit, the Newcastle Knights.
Here's Jackson Hill. He's been great. And may have had the ball stolen there one-on-one. No, I thought perhaps Justin Sleep had the football in his hands. Referee Badger had a good look at it. Here's Rouse tackled. He'll get up and play it back to Clydesdale. And the halfback Kurt Mann drills that into the arms on the full of Nick Flanagan. He's surrounded by Knights defence. And the North Devils very slow getting back on side. They've done a lot of tackling, and a lot of that's been off their own line. It takes it out of you.
Let him go! Off the arm, 20. Hold. Go.
North Devils are just trying to get get back into the arm wrestle in this game. They still got plenty of fire left in them. You know, they run hard and they just need to complete and get a good kick chase on and maybe force an error down the other end of the field out of the Newcastle Knights.
Chris Binge, meantime, plays it back to Harris. And
Last 9, get up.
now a good run
Hold.
downfield by Jason Levy. Now Nikarima kicks that down and fielded by Pat Matatua about 3 or 4 metres out from his own line. And got away from them too. Good effort.
1.
That's a 15-metre burst.
Hold. Go.
He's strong at returning the football back there. The fullback for Newcastle Knights. Good strong runner. You want that in your play 1, 2 and 3, you know. The fullback to come in with a strong run, and then your wingers to take the pressure off the forwards.
Yep, Chad Chandler.
3. Release it.
Here's the next man forward, tackled by Chris Binge.
12, you're off.
This is Adam Clydesdale going for a run, and that pass was a little too hard at his halfback, Kurt Mann. It was also around his melon. Here's a bust by Jerome Leedy. He's going to go all the way and score. Leedy has got that down, and the North Devils have scored their second try of the day. Confirmed now by referee Badger. And 18 points to 8. Kick to come from right in front. Surely he could throw this over blindfolded.
Well, I only just spoke about forcing an error here from the North Devils, and up in the face they've got the ball, and it coughs up straight at the hands of a very speedy Jerome Leedy, and he had a fair bit of work to do. There was Newcastle Knights defenders everywhere, but he manages to step through and a bit of a fend to get away, and a bit of pace to burn. Scores a nice one straight under the post.
So good job by Jerome, seizing the moment. It's what it's all about, making the most of your opportunities this game. And the kick was successful, so 18 points to 10 now. That's been one of the fundamental differences between the two sides. Newcastle have made their chances stick whilst the North Devils haven't, but they did that time. Knock on from the kick-off. Well, that's terrible.
Yes, off the kick-off after a try. It's a coach killer. I can imagine my old coach, Paul Fletcher, just pulling his hair out at this stage right now. They really didn't want a mistake at this stage of the game.
Too true. Kurt Mann, meantime, kick-starts the Knights. This is Matatua. He's going to score. A massive hole appeared in front of him. It was the size of the Sydney Heads. You could have driven a P&O cruise liner through there. And Matatua, well, he made the most of his opportunities, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Newcastle Knights making the North Devils pay for their mistake off the kick-off there. Matatua, a nice show and go. Really, really good footwork, and steps on the inside, finds a nice gap there and gets a nice try.
He's been deserving. Has done a pretty good job today, Matatua. Has had plenty of touches, and they've all been quality. And there's the successful conversion, so it's now 24 points to 10. At Leichhardt Oval, you're watching the National Under-18s Championship between Newcastle Knights, the winner of the SG Ball Cup in New South Wales, and North Devils, winner of the Mal Meninga Cup, the equivalent north of the border. That was heavy defence on Rob Mason.
Great contact there from Jagle, shoulder straight at the ball.
Now the visitors come up with the football, North Devils, and Nikarima it was.
Get to the line. Get to the line.
He'll play it back to Joshua Tunnicliffe, and his support was in front of him there for a moment. Chris Binge has it now. Binge to the line, and will be thumped in touch in goal. Gee, it was a chance for a moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the North Devils knew what they were doing. They worked really hard to force an error there. They got the ball, but in their attack, they sort of got a little bit lost.
So play continues. Newcastle enjoying a 14-point lead. Here's Jake Lawrence.
2, movement!
Tackled by Joshua Tunnicliffe. And a surging run downfield that the ball came out there. And it was called a strip by referee Badger. Newcastle, the beneficiaries of the penalty. And they come back downtown again with Jake Lawrence. A quality run. Back to Clydesdale. Man in 22 on the field. I actually don't have a listing for number 22, so we'll try and clarify that for you in a moment. There was another player with a ripped jersey before. Might be Ellis. We'll try and confirm it for you. Now they go through the hands to Rouse. Inside ball to Rob Mason. Oh, Mason, I thought he was going to score. has lost the ball. BJ Burgess coming away with it for North's Devils. And the winners of the Malmaninga Cup turning defence into attack. Jerome Leedy now, down the short side, Lee.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a loose carry there, and North Devils off the hook. I've got a chance to get the ball down the other end. I'd be looking for it just to get through, complete this set with a really good kick deep into Newcastle Knights ground and kick chase. Unfortunately, we see an error from North Devils.
Here's Matatua on the outside to Chad Chandler. Had Josh Allison in support, but elected to take the tackle himself. Here's Matatua again, attempting to get away from Webster. Was unsuccessful in doing so.
Go.
Here's Big Mason throwing his sizable frame at the defensive line. Good tackle, Jake Kelly. Now from Rouse to the halfback man. Out wide from Ritter, and now on to Lachlan Shippard. Ball back inside. Now I'm sure this is Ellis going downtown. And the football has come out. The referee has blown a penalty. Another strip. Newcastle come up with a penalty again.
Yeah, the Newcastle Knights were lucky to keep the ball in here and keep it alive, but North Devils playing it with a strip for a penalty.
Yeah, that's a good call by the referee. There are actually 3 sets of hands on the ball carrier on that occasion. Not 2 in the tackle, there are actually 3. Now it's Jaden Eneliko.
Release.
A couple of metres out, another chance for the Newcastle Knights. Kurt Mann, Tom Rouse, away to Jackson Hill, who's been a huge handful for the North Devils defence. Down the short side they go with Josh Allison. He already scored a try and has come up with his second of the game.
What about the footwork there from Josh Allison? He just stood the North Devils defender up still. Great rocket ball again, and just off the just a shimmy straight in the corner. It sort of found him lost. Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah, poor defence though, nonetheless. Really, I don't think Allison could believe how easy that was. The attempt at conversion from Nick Ritter, it is wide of the uprights. It's superfluous, really, because I now have an 18-point lead. And Tom Rouse, who I think's got the best footwork out there, he is a special talent, this kid.
Go.
Definitely, he's got all the attributes of a good 5'8", good footwork, good kicking game, and can throw a really good pass as well.
Off both sides. Ellis. And 4 North Devils defenders there, including Joshua Tunnicliffe. Here's Matatua having a run. Playing more like a forward. Now Rob Mason. Great tackle down low by Richard Tuala. Copybook stuff. Good leg drive when he made the tackle. Ball in the air now off the boot of Tom Rouse and straight down the throat of BJ Burgess. There's no drama there. Kurt Mann the tackler. Now Nick Flanagan away from acting half. A 12-metre effort. He was felled by Jackson Hill and Adam Clydesdale. Now Justin Sleep, the left winger. Almost 20 minutes into this second half. Reminds you, at under 18s level, 35 minutes each way. Now Tunnicliffe, a big pass. Back to Nicarima for the clearing kick. It was a vicious bounce. It came down to Matatua, who in turn now uses the winger. Josh Allison, who was well picked off. Nice tackle by Adam Harris. Newcastle just a bit too professional today.
Yeah, they're just very well drilled outfit. You know, they know where they need to be, whose plays next. They're running the ball strong, and not to mention their defence off their line. Their scrabble defence was great.
Getting some good metres here too. Adam Clydesdale plays it, now bursting out of acting half. Tom Rouse. Rouse is away. Look at this kid, the razzle-dazzle. He found support in the shape of Kurt Mann, who somehow threw the ball out the back as the defence converts. The ball is still in play. This is Nick Ritter. Now it comes away to, I think, Ellis, who's tackled a couple of metres out from the line. Really good stuff to watch. And here's another try coming up to Lachlan Shippard, who professionally advances the football around and makes the conversion a little bit easier. Newcastle 32, North's Devils 10.
Well, that's fantastic play. Let's go back a play before that. Tom Rouse with the footwork gets him down in good field position, and then a big, wide Harbour Bridge pass out wide to Lachlan Shippard, who strolls over. He won't get an easier try for that. Puts it down for another 4-pointer. Newcastle Knights.
Not a hand laid upon him. And Ritter will attempt this conversion. And I was about to say he's got one. It's hit the left upright.
Off the post, so the score remains.
Frustrating day with the boot for Nick. 32-10. Final stages of the game. Matatua. North Devils are just starting to open up on the edges, aren't they? Probably fatigue. They've done a lot of defence, a lot more than Newcastle in this game. Here's Will Clark. He loses the ball. Fortuitous for North's Devils. Jerome Malidi has it.
Hold! Watch him.
I'd like to see the North Devils to start to build a little bit of pressure. They haven't had the ball much at all. All just defending the last few sets. So we need to get the ball down the other end and start attacking the Newcastle Knights line.
Comments from Lee Bennett, former Balmain right eastward skipper in the New South Wales Cup. Joining us in commentary for this. Now Francis Molo looking for the big offload. It was never on. And Newcastle comes up with it. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, he's gone for the pass around the back there, coming in contact with the Newcastle Knights defender. Probably wasn't the best option for him.
That's for sure. Michael Steele wearing the thigh guards. In 14 now it's Will Clark.
12.
And Casey
Shoulder charge and then don't slip up high as well. Okay?
Casey Badger penalising Chris Binge for sneaking up a little high with the shoulder. I think that's probably fair comment. The shoulder may have come in contact with the ball carrier's face. Play continues. You're watching highlights of the Under-18s National Championship final. And almost through the gap there, Kurt Mann.
All the way. Hold.
Webster made the tackle. Player's been hurt in back play in that tackle. Will Clark goes forward for Newcastle.
Come all the way. 12. No, he didn't come backwards.
Now this is Clydesdale. Clydesdale almost through. And Matatua trailing in support as good fullbacks should be doing. And you've just got the feeling Newcastle might have more points in them here. On the attack, 20 metres out, the front row, Michael Steele back to the centre. Now links up with Tom Rouse, dummies and goes. And combining in defence there, Tuala and Molo. Clydesdale a charge for the line. It's gone wrong for him. And North Devils come up with it through Joshua Tuncliffe. Now this is Richard Tuala. And that's great defence, Newcastle.
Definitely strong defence, getting numbers in. They're really controlling this ruck. You know, you really want to work the ground, slow the play the ball down so your defensive line can get set, and that's what Newcastle Knights are doing today.
That was actually Chris Binns taking the run the prior ruck, I'm sorry. Then it was BJ Burgess, and there's a lovely offload from Molo out to Adam Harris. Harris trying to run around the defence, but the back rower, Jake Lawrence, was equal to it. Now from Tunnicliffe, then Nicarima on the outside of the winger, Nick Flanagan. They're now into the other side of halfway as Matatua receives some attention. So Nicarima takes off down the short side, and that pass was well behind Nick Flanagan. He wasn't expecting it either.
Yeah, he wasn't in a good position, Nick Flanagan. I think Nicarima is just trying to create something there for his team, and as you can see, he was probably forward in a forward position, and Nicarima's thrown it behind.
Which made it really hard to catch. He had to contend with the sideline as well. There was really just nothing doing over there. So final stages of the match, we see Cody Nicarima taking off.
He played at that. 2 in the tackle.
Another strip. This is, I think that's the 4th penalty for a strip, Lee.
Yeah, I believe so. 4 penalties. A lot of players trying to get a result and force an error and get that ball out.
Ruben Lennon is tackled for North's Devils. Plays it back to Joshua Tunnicliffe. Now Chris Binge hits it up.
Release him!
So a chance for North Devils to come up with another try from Tunnicliffe away to Molo. And Molo towards the upright, stopped by Adam Clydesdale and Will Clark. Can they get across the line, the Queenslanders? Harris to the halfback Nicarima. He had plenty to contend with there, and there was no way Jake Lawrence was letting him through. Adam Harris out now to Richard Tuala. Just a couple of metres out. That is the 5th tackle. So Newcastle. Oh, there's been a mistake made there.
Stand up and play it. Just stand up and play the ball.
Really not the ideal play here. I thought the North Devils had set this up well to go for a nice little grubber and get a repeat set, which they were working hard for. Unfortunately, an incompletion there with that set.
Got to give the referee a rap, mate. Casey Badger has done a good job today. Has been authoritative when she's needed to be. Has kept a reasonable 10 metres.
Yep.
There might have been a couple of 50-50 calls, but that's fine. Happens in every game at all levels. Now Newcastle through Kurt Mann. Trying to advance the football downfield. Francis Molo, the tackler. Clydesdale flings it out to Ellis. And tackled right on the halfway line now. Good quick play of the ball it is too. Back to Kurt Mann. Decides he wants the football down the other end and had to bring Burgess in there. Burgess did well. BJ Burgess had the sun in his eyes too.
He took that ball with confidence, hasn't he? He runs the ball hard and he showed no fear in taking that with the Newcastle defenders around him.
Here's Josh Jaggle away. Coming from behind to effect the tackle, Tom Rouse. Now plays it back to Webster. And here's an inside ball to Chris Binge.
Get out now!
Around the legs, Tom Rouse. Nicarima to the line. Found support, pulled up in front of the defence. Some good second phase here from North's Devils. Nicarima again. Adam Harris overran it. Nicarima looking for somebody. He's got Jerome Leedy, and Leedy has scored his second try of the day in the corner. Nice play, North's Devils. 32-14 kick to come.
Fantastic work from the North Devils there. As you can see, Nicarima, he's a real competitor, getting involved. He's on this side of the field. He's dancing around, finds the number 9 and throws it out wide. And as you can see, the Newcastle Knights wrap the player up. It's gone out the back there. Who's there? Nicarima. Follows up. Good support play. He's showing, he's going. Where am I going to go? Looks out wide and finds Leedy. Leedy, the man to find out wide. He's got pace and he's got a bit of strength and he can carry that ball over for the North Devils try.
And Leedy over in the corner has had a good game today. The right centre for the North Devils. The attempt at conversion from Mitchell Grimes is across the face of goal. It's almost full time here at Leichhardt. So the Newcastle Knights are going to win the National Under-18s Championship. They've just been a little too slick in all aspects of the game this afternoon, and it does show on the score, but I think the score accurately reflects the game. And there is full-time, Lee. Your thoughts?
Oh, I'm very happy with the quality of the game today. For an under-18s competition, I'm impressed with how well drilled the Newcastle Knights side was. The North Devils, they didn't give up. They had plenty of fire in them, but Newcastle Knights just too good on the day.
There's the full-time stats. 32 points to 14. Here's Drury Forbes.
Congratulations to our national under-18 champions, the Newcastle Knights, and we're joined by man of the match, Pat Matatua. Mate, well done. You were outstanding last week in the SG Ball final, and again, a great performance today.
And Brendan Lucas.
Coach, I was a
and
centre,
big
and
congratulations to Casey Badger.
and he's a lot of things from
great
him.
game.
He teach me how, showed me how Kurt Gillian that play, and just to beat my opposition. Yeah.
The scoreboard suggests it was easier than it probably was. It
Now
was
have
a
the
very
captain of the
competitive
North
game for a long
Devils to come
time,
up with
wasn't
his
it?
team and be given
It's
the
pretty
runner-up
hard, boys, yeah.
medallions.
We
The
tried
North
really
Devils.
hard
Put
for
your hands
this.
together, ladies and gentlemen, for the North
We made
Devils.
this far, and Coach again, would like to thank him for it. Yeah.
We saw the Sid Fogs bus out the front. Does it help the fact that you travel as a team down to each match in Sydney, that you get to, I guess, grow close together? And do we see that out in the field? Do you think that's a big boost for your team?
Oh yeah, we do a lot of things at training to get our bond together, and even after our games, go out for dinner and that, get to know each other heaps.
Well done, Peter. On behalf of Lee Bennett, I'm David Tapp. Thank you for being with us today.